you there. Welcome to another edition of the Show Thoughts Podcast. I, of course, am your host, Paulie C. That is Big E. And, of course, we're bringing you another week of fun-filled fuckery. First of all, let's break it out right at the gate. Shady's back. How you like it?
Back again.
Tell some friends. Tell a lot of fucking friends.
Yeah, he's that video and that track they said are blown. He broke records
Yeah.
for debuts, and I don't think I've ever. I don't know if you've heard of this dude. I came across him. I think through social media or something like that. Maybe YouTube. I don't know.
Is it Petey Ping Fishwing?
No, it's his
It is.
brother.
Oh, okay.
No, it's this dude named Knox Hill, and he's a rapper. But on YouTube, he when people like M or Kendrick or Drake or any of these like bigger names rappers or hip hop guys drop like a new record or new album, he like critiques them. He'll go through and he'll break it down for you and like, oh, this is what they meant by this is what they did this. And because he's in the world, like, and he like, I guess like also produces, like he knows what they were trying to do musically. So it's a pretty cool like thing to watch. Like I watched some of his stuff, but he also puts out his own music. So I like listen to him on Amazon. He's good. Like he almost, if anybody looks him up, again, his name is Knox Hill. I would definitely recommend looking him up on YouTube and watching the video that he just put out about Houdini. Bro, he broke it down. Like he was going through, especially the video, like obviously going through Easter eggs. And there was shit that I didn't even catch. And I'm like, oh my God. Like he was breaking it down kind of like verse by verse. Like he would let it play and then he would pause it and he'd rewind and go back and go, okay, check, watch this. And there was one verse in there where he I can't remember what part it was. It was whenever they were, because like the whole thing obviously has like that comic book vibe to it. But there was that one specific part where they were like almost like flipping comic book pages, and there was all those different people in the different comic book squares.
Yeah.
Dude, Easy Mill, that his new dude, was in the fucking video, and he shouts him out in the song. I didn't even catch it.
Really? I didn't either.
Yeah, dude, I was like, what? Like, and that's what this dude does. Like, he breaks down the shit that you like. I'm like, I didn't even catch that. And then he was going also verse by verse and like showing you like what, because again, Shady's back. Like it's Slim. Like, and he was going back to the Easter eggs, like what he was referencing from a lot of, obviously the big thing was like the whole like there was the one part in the video where he redid the if it's a real Slim Shady stand up with all the Slim Shadys or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, there was that, but then there was other parts. There was a couple other times that he referenced Without Me in that video and in the song itself. But there was another thing in there. There was a couple, like you'd have to watch it. His name's Knox Hill. It's Knox and then Hill. And then it's his newest video. I was like, holy shit. Like I loved the single. Me and you've been talking about it all weekend. Like I loved this single. And then when I saw the video, it made me like the song even more. And then I watched his shit and I'm like, oh my God, this is like a whole nother level. Like now I like it even more. Like, and then he even tries to explain where he thinks Marshall's going with the direction of the whole album. And obviously we know from the feel of this, he's
yeah, he don't give a fuck.
No, and that's what he said, like the part where he came straight out the gate and called out Megan Thee Stallion, like called out the fucking R. Kelly and the Black Eyed Peas. And here's the thing, it wasn't even so much that he called out specifically the Black Eyed Peas, because we know R. Kelly, everybody knew that he's been charged, whatever.
He's done what he's did, yeah.
The whole pissing on people shit or whatever. he was like, but what M did by tying in the Black Eyed Peas, it wasn't so much that he was tying in the Black Eyed Peas without calling her out specifically. He was calling out Fergie because there was a point, I didn't even know this happened. There was like a news article that Fergie like pissed herself on stage. Like go on.
Oh, that was forever ago, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's how he was like, if you stop and really like, because obviously I didn't stop and rewind and listen. And the way he broke everything down, and I got to listen to everything that M was saying, and the way this dude like, and he was even counting the bars. He was like, watch, he does like an 8/9 flow here, and like the way he harmonizes words together, like he was like, because he references like fight, we joke about it all the time. Talks about a kangaroo, like
Yeah,
me fighting a kangaroo. There's a part in there where I didn't catch it in the song until this dude broke it down. That there's a part in there where he references a fucking kangaroo. He goes, I don't know anybody in the world that could fucking rhyme the word kangaroo with whatever he rhymed it with. He was like,
right.
only M. He was like, and that's just the way he breaks the songs down. Like the way M does shit is just so different than everybody else. And I mean, everybody's known that, but like, and his theory is it's not. So he keeps saying, I have one more trick up my sleeve.
Yeah,
And now that we see that he brought Shady back, and then the I guess the supposed name of the album's going to be The Death of Slim Shady. He thinks he thinks that's going to be the trick. He's tricking us. He's not going to kill. It's not going to be the death of Slim Shady. He thinks that like M's back. Like it's not Marshall Mathers. It's not the new the past couple albums that we've gotten from him, which were always still bangers. But the trick is he thinks that it's going to be he wants everybody to think it's going to be the end of Slim and the end of the Eminem era, and it's not. He's going to be coming out stronger and coming back out at people that have been fucking with him. And that's what he said too. Like there was that part in the video where he walks in on that podcast with Shane Gillis, and there was like the two
yeah.
other
Royce and
dudes.
5 9s in there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He said that's a throwback to whenever they were trying to cancel culture him. And they said something about they were bitching about him on podcasts. So that was him going in and blowing up the podcast spots for trying to fucking get him canceled. And then obviously the Bud Light thing, we all know about him and the whole transgender
yeah,
like world. Like he was like, there's so much shit in there, little shit that was just like crazy. I mean, some of the stuff was obvious, like him putting on the superhero suit again, and and then the whole reason with Pete Davidson at the end. I mean, again, we know Pete has done some skits with him,
yeah.
but the whole thing with him getting in a car and saying I got my license back, that's because evidently there was a whole thing. Like they don't know if it was for real or if it was. I guess it was something he talked about in one of his last two stand-up specials, where he had this part where he lost his license. So M methodically thinking was like, let's throw that in the fucking video and then part of the song, like you and the whole driving with the
Right.
license. Like
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like
I
it's
mean,
it's
there,
crazy.
there's there's a lot going on. Like today, like I was finishing like research for the podcast, and it was like everybody's on this whole the about the bar about Megan Thee Stallion, and it's like you understand that since the dude has come out when we were junior seniors in high school, this dude
Yeah.
has not gave a fuck.
No.
Like he has not gave one fuck. So this cancel culture now and everybody being so sensitive, that's exactly what he's doing, especially when he called them all Girl Scouts and everybody getting participation trophies. Like he's
Yeah.
calling this generation out in its own entity. And he did it before with Gen Z. Like, dude, he don't care. He don't
No. And
care.
the thing is them coming at him and the whole cancel culture thing with him and throwing him in the media, the social media, whatever, like trying to like get him canceled and go after him. That only fuels him.
Right. It's not going to stop this beast.
You're giving him the ammo that he needs to fire back. Like he's only gonna, and that's what he did in this song. Like he flipped shit that people had said and done to him in the past few years. He's flipped it, and that's like this. That's what this kid said. He was like, he's kept receipts. Like he
Yeah.
knows who said shit. He knows what's what, and he's gonna come back at you. And yeah, he didn't. He only called out what Megan and a few other people by name. Oh, that chick, that Sherry chick that faked her own kidnapping.
Piper, whatever her fucking name is. Yeah.
Yeah, like he referenced that in there, and the dude broke it down why he referenced it. Like it was again, he wasn't so much calling like calling her out like in a bad way. He was just using her story as a reference to him, like something about like again, like you thought y'all could kidnap me or something like that. Like, like he was just referencing it, like using her story as a reference in his lyrics. Like, and I'm like, fuck. Like,
Well, they don't understand and they don't also get is if you've been a fan of Eminem for as long as we have, if you've like listened, even in the past 5, 10 years, you have to also understand that Eminem is the master of double and triple entendres.
yeah,
Like, he's one of the best lyricists and artists to do this. So just because, like, again, back to Megan Thee Stallion, just because he said that, he just one, it was like he was saying that he might not get a chance to have a feat with her, a feature,
yeah,
but then he also took it upon himself to reference a shot with Tory Lanez. Like, dude,
yeah.
this is what y'all ain't getting. It's just like this. Y'all are looking here, but it's like, no, it's this, this, and this. Like, you have to break him down, dude.
And that's what that dude does. And that's what that he was trying to get across is it was like he was trying to get people to understand like what he said might have sounded one way, but he meant this.
Yes.
But I said, like, obviously, like, I get that with him because, like I said, we've been listening to him for years, so I understand that. I pay attention, but there were still things there that I was like, "Fuck, I didn't see that coming." Like, he
But
even
that's
caught
what
me.
he does, bro. That's what he
Oh, and
does.
that's what I said, and that's what made me like, shit, like it even more.
That's
Like, I
why
was
that
like,
day we were talking on Friday, I was like, I think I ran this thing back like fucking 14 times because you
yeah,
have to keep listening to it, which also, in a way, is great because it keeps the streaming sales up. Like,
oh yeah,
people are going to keep listening to this and watching the video and trying to make, like, there's not just that guy. There's so many people that do the reaction videos and all this shit. And not just them, they do that with everybody.
yeah.
But I mean, they do particularly go to like M, and of course, they did like the Drake
That's
and
where he
5 Cent.
referenced. That's where he referenced the kangaroo, because it was towards the end of the song when he was I think he just got done fighting himself up on the rooftop in the video,
Yeah.
and he said something about like y'all hopping around like kangaroos,
Yes.
and I'm out here running races or something, and then he rhymed it with kangaroo, and I was
Right.
like, oh snap! Like that's what he said. Like he's running numbers, and it's only been
Right.
a week, not even. We're not even at a
Friday.
week, just a weekend.
Right. Friday will be the week. And like somebody else, what somebody else brought up too. Don't you think it's funny that Pete Davidson shows up in that car and Pete Davidson's best friends with Machine Gun Kelly?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh fuck, forgot about that. Like you just keep going. Like shit, damn, fuck. It to me reminds me of an old Batman comic. Ping, zow, wow. Like
Yeah,
fuck, shit, damn.
yeah. Like it was just it. It was crazy the way the dude broke it down. And like I said, he's got good music himself too. Like, because that was the thing. He was like, well, he goes, I didn't think I'd be breaking down a new Eminem video today and track. He was like, because if you noticed, I played a new intro to my show. And he was like, that's a new single I'm dropping. So none of y'all care about my single because M just outdid me. He was like, but if you're interested, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go check out your new single. So I added it to my playlist because it's a
Right?
banger. He's good.
Well,
But here's the thing about this dude. This is what I'm telling you, or anybody else that wants to check him out. Check his music out himself. Because when you watch his videos and he's breaking down music for you, you can't tell. It just sounds like a typical white dude. But when he raps, and I'm not comparing him whatsoever, like lyricist wise. but he sounds like a fucking Marshall impressionist.
Like an
But
impersonator.
yeah, like he doesn't, not like, I mean, not yet. I haven't heard him like rap as fast as M or anything like that. Like, and his style is not like M, but his voice, like he could do voiceovers for M if M wanted him to. And I'm
Right.
like, that's crazy because the first time I heard him, I thought it was a new M track, and I'm like, when did this drop? And then I saw that it was this dude Knox, and I'm like, shit, he fucking sounds like Marshall. Like he just has the voice. Like he could just, but when he's talking, he just sounds like a dude. But then when he's flowing, there's certain times when he flows, and I'm like, dude, that was crazy. Like you just sounded like M. Like, but again, he's not trying to be him. Like he's not trying to be like the next white rat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the
he's just
next Eminem.
he's just him, and he's got a crew like that. He, I guess, like features and puts on. Like he's got these certain dudes that are on a bunch of his tracks that I guess he works with. And yeah, it's good. Just good old. It's just good hip hop. Like it's good.
Right. Which I, on the other end, I follow the guy on Instagram, like the real TG, who mimics
Oh
Eminem. Like if Eminem
yeah,
got hit by a fucking golf cart or if
yeah,
Eminem stubbed his toe, dude. And when he starts rapping and getting into it, he sounds like Marshall too. And I'm like, that would be the shit that fucking Eminem would do, like in a restaurant. If he had to pick up his daughter from daycare, if he had to tie his shoe, like
yeah.
I like that shit. So I'll probably check him out after we're done here. But
Did you see the photos came out from uh Haley's wedding?
yes,
Dude, him with the shades. I was like,
dude,
fuck.
I said I said something to one of the dudes at work. I said in typical Eminem fashion, so nobody sees him. Meanwhile, you know it's him. You know that's his daughter, Haley Jade. And the worst part is, hold on, I'm gonna do my first dance with my daughter. Nobody's gonna know who I am. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah,
we know who the fuck you are, Marshall.
dude, and there was
Like,
that picture of the three of them. It was him, her, and then her husband. I
yeah,
guess you could say now. I didn't realize how big of a dude her husband is.
right.
He's a big fucking boy.
Yeah. And what killed me too,
I'm like, are you part of M security? Like, what is like? Where'd you come from?
well, I love the fact too that nobody I found out, but nobody had a picture. 50 Cent was at that wedding.
Yeah, 50
And
said it.
I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Oh, like they're probably like uncles to her, like Dre. Dre was probably there. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like they're probably like she grew up with them. You know what I mean? Like with them dudes. So I could only imagine the people
right.
that were at that wedding.
Where's
Like I don't
Uncle
think that
Snoop?
was
He's
like
in the back.
like I don't think that it would probably be like a crazy star-studded wedding because it's her wedding.
Right.
Like it's not like it was M's wedding. Like if he was getting married, who fuck, that'd be a show.
But I don't think that dude's ever gonna get married
But there
again.
was no, but there was a few, like you said, like 50. I could see Dre being there. You know what I mean? Like just a handful of people that she was like, okay, Dad, tell. Again, she probably calls him like, you know what I mean? Like,
Uncle Fitty.
yeah, like tell Uncle Dre he can come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Tell Uncle Andre he can show up. It's
yeah,
fine.
you know what I mean? Like it's so I picture you had a handful of people there. You know what I mean? Like for her, but yeah, it's that was the way we started our weekend.
I know, but what like you and I were discussing, like if this is the beginning,
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And that's what it's like. Even when I listened to it for the first time, I was like, okay, I like it. Like the beat caught me because like I like Steve Miller Band, so like the whole
Same.
abracadabra thing, like I caught that. Like I'm like, okay, that's cool because he always does that on every album he drops. He always, I don't know, he does a remix. He samples an old classic rock song. Like he did it with Aerosmith.
Hmm.
Um, who else did he's I can't think off the top of my head. He's like every album he samples an old classic rock song and makes it the hook. So for him to come out with this being the first one and it having the hook already in there, And he, like you said, he didn't call it everybody he could.
No, but that's why I'm like,
And especially with the way, like, it made more sense. Like I said, once you watch the video for the song, like the way he had Shady come through the portal, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like the world. Because I told you that before we even saw the video. I was like, with the state of the world the U.S. is in right now, M's got shit that he could fucking, and it's not even so much he has to call any specific person out. You know what I
mhm,
mean? But I mean the political shit that's going on in the U.S. Like he's got topics he could cover for 2, 3 albums.
yeah. But we're just gonna have to see just what fucking mayhem is fucking yet to come. Like
I can't wait.
I know I'm ready. I
I'm
mean,
impatient. Summer
yeah,
of 2024. Like, what the fuck? That could be this month. That could be next month. That could be August. We could be even wait until September.
yeah. I figure with them it'll probably be like late June or July.
Ugh. Tomorrow?
Sure. We don't
Maybe that's
know.
part. Maybe that's part of the Houdini trick.
Yeah, that it just shows up next week.
He's just going to appear.
It just shows up on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we'll have to uh stay
I mean,
tuned. I guess.
I always browse every Friday. I browse the new.
Every Friday, bro. I never stop.
Yeah. I don't know.
No. But I know speaking of like music, Kenny Chesney was in town.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I it's got a lot better. You
I mean,
know?
it had it. Listen, if you're watching this and you're from Pittsburgh, you know what we're talking about. If you're not from Pittsburgh, which hey, thanks for watching from other places.
There are people that are not from Pittsburgh to watch this
And
shit.
listen, here's my thing. I can only imagine that this happens in every city he goes to. It's just that we just hear about it locally because we live locally. Um, anytime Chesney comes to town, it's a fucking shit show for the city. Now they make a ton of money. The city bangs the bucks, but I the aftermath and the pre math and the aftermath is a fucking train wreck. And that's the only thing. Like, and I was talking to a couple different people about this over the weekend about him being in town. And this was the perfect show for me because, I don't do country. Like, I mean, I know some artists, I listen to a little bit. My wife is a big country person. So I learn about the country world through her. I first got introduced to Kenny Chesney, obviously, through her. And I was like, that's my dude. Like, if I had to pick a country artist, that's my guy. Like, that's
Did
who
you
I
have your
listen.
flag up this weekend?
No, bro, I forgot. I forgot my no
So
shoes.
much of a Kenny Chesney fan.
I know. I felt bad. Well, it's listen. You know the weekend died. Um. Uh.
I'm not hating.
So let's be glad I remembered to wake up.
Okay.
Um. But no. So, but for me, like I've said it to you because like you were you know the only other person I'd be like, hey, let's go to a country show, and you'd be like, okay.
All right.
Um. I mean, I know you have your selective artists too, but like that's something every year I say, dude, we gotta go. I want to try and go to Kenny. I want to try to go to Kenny because I mean, yeah, he's younger, but who knows how long he's gonna be torn. You know what I mean? Like he might get tired of this shit and just say, fuck it, I'm done.
I doubt it, but okay.
But for me, like this was the perfect show because one of the other few handfuls of country artists that I like is Zach Brown. Like I think that Zach Brown and Kenny Chesney have a little bit of the same style, like that laid back kind of. It's not real like I don't care who the fuck gets mad. It's not like hillbilly country. Like we all know that Kenny's style is like that laid back beach life.
He's the
And
modern day Jimmy Buffett, bro.
basically, and I feel like Zach Brown can dabble in that world too, and that's like I like them. So I'm like, this is the perfect show for me because it's two artists that I'm like I listen to. I know their songs. Because if Kenny Chesney brought somebody else with him, I'd be like, I don't even know what the fuck they're singing. How many times did I go to country concerts with you just because you had an extra ticket and needed somebody to go? And I went and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna go. Like,
And yeah, it was like, but yet you vibed out. You ain't no look at the words, but
yeah, exactly. So it was like,
you
I'll
made
make
sure
the
you
most
were
of it.
feeling pretty good.
Well, that very first country concert I ever went to with you guys, yes, I, yeah, we won't talk about that. But yeah, so that was. I mean, I know some people that went. That was a fucking show. That did they said he between just them two alone, because that girl opened for them too, Megan M- Maroney. Am I saying that right?
I think I don't know. I don't.
Correct me, folks, if I'm wrong, but it's Megan. I think Maroney. My kid knows. She's again like a Taylor Swifty type of girl. I think part of the reason I probably don't know who she is really that well. But anyways, we won't go there. But if you take don't include her set, her opening set, just Kenny and Zach alone played for 6.5 hours.
dude. It
Do you imagine the amount of fucking liquor that went through these motherfuckers?
That's where I'll kick in.
And and
So
listen, that's just in the show. We're not talking about what they tailgated.
yeah. So my boss was doing the weekend route, and I walked in and saw him this morning because he moved the trucks. And I said, "Did you move the trucks because of Kenny Chesney?" And he looked at me. He's like, "You have no idea." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I got here at 8 o'clock, and that lot across the street from us was starting to fill up." I was like, 8 o'clock. He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "There was people out there around 8 o'clock, like setting up tents,
Yeah,
like almost like when like a pit tailgate."
yeah,
Like and with like Jen and Craig and their friends, like they're there early. They set up their tents to get their shit
yeah.
on the grill, you know. And he's like, it wasn't that bad. He's like, when I came back about 10:30,
Oh, it
he
was
was like,
kicked in.
all hell broke loose. He was like within an hour to an hour and a half. Like he's like, by the time I got back within 2.5 hours, he was like, that lot was full. The guy had us move the vehicles because sometimes we'll sell out our lot depending on how grand the event is.
Yeah,
And uh he's like, I literally took two cube trucks down to our other building. When I came back, they were parking people where our trucks would have been. I was like, damn. He's like, there was about 6 to 7 cars already in our lot, including my car. He's like, and where our cube trucks were, there was like 5 cars already. I was like,
jeez.
wow. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was just chaos. And then he said, I'm trying to go get to my car. He's like, there's people already on our bench, like tailgating on the bench. I was like, and this was like 10:30. He was like, yeah, roughly like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And then when I came back, excuse me, when we came today, this morning, like the aftermath from Kenny Chesney in Pittsburgh has toned down tremendously since it was addressed that one year.
Yeah.
And I pulled up, I just got off the phone with Brandy, and I'm looking over, and there is like trash, bro. Like beer cans, all kind of shit underneath that bench. I was
Yeah.
like, yep, Kenny Chesney was here for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, this is what I love the most is so I'm walking towards like the front door of our building because our safety guys were coming out to take care of like the trash.
Uh,
And I look down and there's those beatbox like wine in a box thing, like the
uh,
little kind of like the protein shakes or whatever. There was this is the greatest. There was like 3 of them, and then on the ground next to it, there was like um almost like a Viagra get hard pills. I was pissing myself laughing. I was like, well, somebody had a fucking good time at Kenny Chesney. Like I just looked down, I was like, some wine and some boners. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? So I was like, somebody's living in fast forward. no, no pun intended. Fucking Kenny Chesney. Yeah, like
jeez.
wild. I mean, I was looking at Big 104.7 concert, looked like it was great. And then, of course, my comedian friend Matt Light was in from Dallas or in from Texas for Kenny Chesney, and he put it up on his Instagram. And he does it every year. Like he interviews everybody for Kenny Chesney, and yet he's in his Steeler gear while they're all country the fuck out. And
You
I
see
was
that?
just,
You saw the Russ. You see Wilson was there.
yes, Russell Wilson was there.
They said, dude, on McAfee today, Pat was like, they should have reversed it. They're like, Russ is the new guy in town. He was like, Kenny's been here. Kenny's like a second mayor of Pittsburgh. He was like, he
Yeah.
should have welcomed Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh, not Russell Wilson welcome them.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'd have been cool with a fucking Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown band, Sierra collaboration. I'd have been cool with that.
I'd have been all right with it. I'd have been all right with
Like,
it. And did you see that thing, that plaque the Steelers gave him
yeah,
with all the dates and that he like it had like Steelers logo and then like the date and then the name of each tour.
yeah,
And they said it's like I think they said it was almost like 20. I mean, it wasn't. It's I guess 20 years, but not consecutively because you have to take out like the COVID years and stuff like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
But I was like, Jesus Christ, like, and I can't
Well,
get the one.
I've been to one. I'm good.
Like, I don't want to deal with all the drama shit that like.
It's pure chaos.
Then that's what I don't want to deal with. Like, that's what pisses me off. Like, I just want to go and get in, enjoy the show, and get out. Like I'm not, because like you know me, like I don't drink at concerts. Like I'm well, we have back in the day we have, but like I don't, especially nowadays. Like I don't go and get wasted and get drunk. Like I just want to go and enjoy the music, especially for the prices that you're gonna pay. Like I don't understand how people get blackout drunk and then don't remember the fucking show. And I'm like, you just dropped like $200 a ticket, you and a girl, you whatever, like so that, you're looking at like $400, and then you don't remember what the fuck happened.
Right.
Like, fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or you're paying a fucking fine or paying bail to get out of jail because you fucked up.
Well, um, I know at least. I don't know if they have one at like Acrisure Stadium or Heinz Field or whatever the people want to call it, but I know there's a drunk tank at Starlink. I know
Well,
there's
yeah,
one at Starlink.
yeah.
So I don't know if they have a specific area for drunk people. I can only imagine how full it would be, and I would
Yeah.
love to be a fly on the wall in there.
I think for things like that, like Steeler games, they probably utilize something like that. But for an event like that, dude, the city had to have like wagons. Like there,
Oh,
you're not even getting dealt with by like Steeler security. Like
you're
you got
just you're out,
you got straight city squad just zip tying your ass up. They ain't even wasting the real cuffs on you. You're getting zip tied and thrown in a wagon.
right? I was
Cause
like,
you
hey
figure,
man, I've
cause
been
you
zip
figure
tied
too,
before.
like, well, that's a whole nother. I don't want to know. Uh, cause you figure the city had to deal with him being in town. They had the
The
Pride
Pride
Fest.
Parade.
They had the Three Rivers Arts Festival, which fucking caught up in flames.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bro, I almost hit you up because channel I follow like Channel 4 and stuff, and I have like their news app on my phone, and they, breaking news, blah blah blah, fire down at the thingy. So I pulled up the video to watch it. There was a dude like running through the shot through the screen, bro. It looked like Manson. And then when they said it was the food thing, I'm like, oh, I hope like I
That could
almost
have been fucking Manson,
I
bro.
almost messaged you like check on bro. Like I didn't know if like maybe like that was like because his company, the company he works for, always is setting up booths and stuff for events downtown. I'm like,
Yeah.
no way. Like but they caught another angle. Like there was another shot where the dude they caught him in a different frame or something, and I was like, oh no, it wasn't him.
Well,
But
to
the way when a dude first ran by, I was like, what? Whoa, like.
no, I was like to speak on that. Big Bro's okay because he was Snapchatting,
Yeah,
like he
then
was in
then
the
I saw it.
car.
He was riding around in the van. He was like, "I go pick up my drunk coworkers."
Yeah, right. And I so wanted to message
And then the
him when he
video of
was in
that
the car.
fucking popsicle,
Yeah, the dick popsicle.
I was like, "What the? Okay."
Yeah, I mean they had dick ones, vagina ones. This isn't a kids friendly fucking show, people. So we say what we want, but like I was like, yeah, it's Pride. It's Pride Parade. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
but yeah, they had that. So you figure they had Pride. Here's how I described it. This is the day. Fuck you that I offend. You had your country hillbillies. You had your queers. You had your hipster artsters, and there was a comic book convention, so you had your geeks. Like that's the crowds the city was dealing with this weekend downtown.
Right. And predominantly all in one day. Like in
Yeah,
one fucking day.
I mean the
Like,
good thing is like the arts festival is all week long, so like that crowd will get dispersed out between this weekend, last weekend, this weekend coming, and then just throughout the week. But like you said, predominantly, I mean, the Pride Fest was 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Kenny was
Saturday.
that was a 24-hour show. Um, and then yeah, and then the comic book thing was at least the whole weekend too. You figure that was probably Saturday and Sunday because that was at the convention center.
Yeah. But I
Because
wanted
that
to
wasn't
message him so bad because when he was like, on the way to get my drunk friends, I wanted to be like, there was times we had to get you.
you were the
All
drunk
right.
friend.
You were the drunk friend at one time.
Get the strap.
Get the strap. Firehouse. Firehouse. Shout out to the Trinity. Benji, Darren, oh, Chad, and fucking of course Manson. I love you guys. Um, but yeah, when we end up cleaning up all that, like um the one dude, Jermaine asked me, he was asked me something about that's he asked me about college football.
uh-huh.
And I told him I pre-ordered it, and then we got in a whole long discussion about it.
Hmm.
And then I just, I'm sorry that you don't get a chance to play this. My bad. But apparently, according to E, it's exclusively for the next gen systems. So
PS5 and whatever the new Xbox is called. I don't know.
it's an Xbox X or something. I don't know. But speaking of sports, I'm not really going to touch into it too much. Um, but we have sports fans. Looks like the Dallas Mavericks are going to take on the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. So
Yay.
go
Go B-ball. I don't have a horse in that race because I don't watch basketball unless
right.
it's college. I don't do
But
NBA pro basketball, so sorry, folks. I don't have much to
but
say about that.
with the way Lucas talking trash, I'm hoping that the Mavs win. I never like the Celtics. I only wear a Celtics hat one time a year or any kind of green. So, and then on the other end, you have the fucking NHL fucking Stanley Cup is finally here because these motherfuckers taking forever. And
And
you have
it's not even here, bro. It don't start until Saturday.
yeah, I saw how
So
long that delayed.
they got the whole week. They There was a breakdown today. So as usual, when it comes to sports, I like to reference Pat McAfee. Shout out to Pat and the boys because I watch it daily. And they had on PK Subban today, and they were talking about the finals. And they, one of the things they referenced is the distance between Florida and Edmonton, Canada.
Yeah,
It's a 6 hour 10 minute if you do a nonstop flight. That's if you do nonstop from straight Florida to Edmonton or Edmonton to Florida. That's how long it is between the two cities.
well,
So
I mean, it's kind of what we were doing when we played the Sharks in the finals.
yeah.
We were going from East Coast to West Coast. But
Mhm.
then I don't think Edmonton's going to be as warm as Florida is. Like when the Pens played the Sharks, you could see that it was warm in California, especially with it being so like in the summer, because like the
Yeah.
puck was very bouncy. So I'd imagine that's how it'll be in Florida. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, but Florida though, again, I mean, you would think that these warmer cities would have it down packed, but from what I understand though, like Florida's ice crews got that place locked down. Like they they got their shit together. Like they keep it at the right temp and they make sure that ice is um where it needs to be because you figure it's Miami, it's South Florida, like it's hot down there all the fucking time. Like,
Facts.
so it's not like they have to worry about like the change in weather as much as like I mean, even in California, yeah, they have their hot time, but it does cool off, a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
little bit. So you would have to worry about temperature drop on the ice, but yeah, so hopefully Florida's. I mean, plus they've had. That's the thing is like they've been off again because they fucking eliminated New York so fast. That wasn't a clean sweep, but you know they still finished faster than what Edmonton just did. So Florida's had plenty of time to rest, get their guys together, get some health through the team, and
yeah,
the and that's another reason they have like the rest of the week off is because the arenas are going to need and the cities are going to need time to prepare for the mayhem that's about to hit.
100%, 100%. I
Because
was talking
the first two are in Florida, so the game 1 and 2 is in Florida, 3 and 4 will be in Edmonton, and
Edmonton.
then obviously they'll alternate.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
and
was asking, talking to my dad about that this weekend. I was like, hey, what do you? I don't give a shit. Okay, but my dad loves hockey, so
that's when like I'm gonna watch it. I mean, I watch the playoffs and I watch the Stanley Cup every year, and I don't care who's in it. I just hope for good games. And this year in the Stanley Cup, we have or in the playoffs, we've had really good games, and I think these two, it's gonna be good. Uh, and I'm stealing the words from PK Subban today. Like Florida's the better team, and I say team as in like the whole. Like they have depth, they have the better goalie out of the two. Like Florida is the better team, but you can't count out Edmonton because they have fucking Connor McDavid, and what that dude did last night on the ice was fucking phenomenal. Like I haven't seen somebody toe drag and pull front hand backhand through a crowd of fucking players, and I don't know how long. Like, I mean, he's just you. So you can't count out Edmonton. They have a good goalie. It's not that their goalie's horrible. It's just that Florida has the better one.
yeah,
I mean, they have Draisaitl on in Edmonton. Like, they have some key guys, but they just don't have complete depth like Florida does. So this is where I'm stealing the words from PK Subban. This is Florida's cup to lose. Like Florida should win this cup. Not saying it's going to be easy.
right.
I could see this going 6. I don't think we're going 7. But if Florida gets off their game or if Florida starts fucking up and taking too many penalties and stuff like that, like that's where you're giving Edmonton the chance to
Right,
steal some games and possibly win the
right,
cup.
right off into the sunset with the cup.
Because and then what's nice is you have there's always that like I don't want to call it an underdog story, but like a hockey story. Um, so like with Florida, they've never won the cup before.
Right,
So you're like, oh, sweet, let's see them win. But then again, on the other hand, you have Connor McDavid, who's never. This is the first time he's ever been to the playoff or to the finals. He's
yeah,
been in the league. This is his 9th year in the league, and he's never seen the Stanley Cup Finals.
right,
So it's like they've always been eliminated early. So this would be a first for him. And then there's other guys on Edmonton too. Like it's so crazy saying this, but like they have Corey Perry, who has won it before with Anaheim, but like he's a vet. Like he's been in the league for almost 20 years,
right,
and he's still playing at a decent caliber. Or obviously teams wouldn't want him, but it's like like I watched an interview with him, and they said like, "What are your thoughts of like making it back to another Stanley Cup final?" And he said this one's a little special because his kids are old enough now to like watch it and know and probably remember. He was like, they were babies, they were little when I won the cup. Like
yeah,
like now I'm like, so it's for him. It's like, it's like a heartfelt family moment. So, um, and you know what? This one's a throwback for all you old fucks out there watching us. Like again, I don't have like like I'm picking one or the other. Like I just want to see a good game, a good series. Whoever wins, I'm going to be happy for them because there's good stories. But I didn't realize this until they won last night because not really like put in the limelight at all. He's not a player. He's part of the like I guess the coaching staff you can call it. Edmonton Edmonton hire they have Paul Coffey on their team, bro.
Well, he was an Oiler back in the day.
Yeah, so it's like I'm like, that'd be cool for him to get another ring. You know what I mean? To get his name on a cup again. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, like I find little things like that, and that's how I sometimes pick like who I want them to win. But again, like with these finals, I'm okay with either team. Like I'm hoping for a good series. And whoever wins wins. Like it is what it is. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
hope let's hope for a good one. And then we got baseball. I don't have to really talk about that. Our guys are looking pretty good.
I just chose to wear this today. I don't care.
We're 2.5 games out of a wild card spot for the playoffs.
It's May,
Yeah,
June.
which means it only can get better.
All right. All right.
Mhm. I mean, and the pitching staff's actually like we got dude that I was talking to Mike over the weekend, and we were talking obviously baseball, and it was like obviously everybody knows we got the Paul Skeens. But then flying under the radar, we have Jared Jones, who's, I think actually pitching better than Paul Skeens. Well, stat wise, on paper, it probably don't look that way, but Jared Jones he didn't have to go down to the minors. Like he's been with the Pirates since the start of the season. Um, so he's had more opportunities, but it's just like our pitching's actually doing very, very well, which is something that always sucks for us. So I don't know. Like you said, I mean, we're almost at the halfway point. July will be the All-Star break, which is the halfway point. So
And that's when shit goes downhill.
yeah, but yeah, there's just a different feel to the team this year. I just don't think that shit's gonna go downhill. I mean, I don't think we're gonna like have a complete turnaround and be you know, like this undefeated team the rest of the year after the
Right.
All-Star break. But like I think they're gonna come out of it pretty good. I mean, I think we have the potential of having a couple All-Stars on the team this year. So, you know, I think that might, give the boys a little pep in their step.
We're gonna have to get like the tribal chief, Scotty K, on here so you guys could talk baseball and I could just like sit this one out because it's so
That's why
depressing.
when we talk Pirates, I keep it short and sweet.
Right. And then if we bring in Sam, she's gonna talk about the Mets, which
Ah, fucking Met. Oh, dude, the Mets they're a hot mess
might
right
mark
now.
you, bro.
She can't talk shit. The Mets they're a hot mess. They might be selling players at the trade deadline. Like they're a hot mess. Like again, we're like a team that, everybody's like, okay, they could have a pretty good year, but they fell apart. Like, I mean, I don't want to say they started off strong, but they started off good. And
Mhm.
then, so Mets fans are fucking
She's probably losing her shit too. So
like, if you were probably to message her, be like, hey, how's it going? How the Mets? She might fucking find you and cut you.
I doubt she'll cut me. She loves me.
No, no, Mets fans are gonna cut somebody. Like they're
Somebody's
fucking.
gonna get cut. But dude, speaking of like that, like the frustration, I have to watch it, and I'm gonna start it this week because I'm here by myself. But I want to watch that Bronx Zoo. It's about the 1990 Yankees where all the chaos happened, where
Oh
like
yeah,
Deion Sanders is on the team, all that speculations and shit. So I'm definitely trying to invest in that this week, and when I do, I will of course bring it on here and follow up. Um, but
tomorrow. Speaking of like shows in like a drama situation, tomorrow starts that. Again, I just said I don't do NBA, but this was more than just NBA. This was national news. The LA Clippers story starts tomorrow
yeah, with Ed O'Neill,
with
fuck yeah, bro,
Good old Al Bundy. Um,
playing a white racist, like that's great. Like
Like
fucking Jesus.
I could
What the
care about
fuck?
the basketball aspect of it. Like I don't want to say I could care less, but like I want to see some like behind the scenes story because I mean I followed that story like everybody did. I mean if you're a guy and watch, I mean there's girls that probably followed it too, but like that was the story for how long,
Yeah,
like in the sports world, like bro, like
right.
NBA is forcing him to sell, and he's like, "Fuck that! I ain't selling.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
a racist. What are you talking about?"
So
He's like,
I
"This
can
this team loves me." No, they don't.
no, they don't, because you're a racist piece of shit.
Like, and then you got Lawrence Fishburne up in there playing the coach. Like, I think it's like they got a good, decent cast too. That's why I was like, I'm actually intrigued by this. Like, I want to.
Yeah.
They said it starts tomorrow. They said it's going to be on Hulu. It's a Hulu
Well,
series.
what also starts tomorrow is that mini series of Who Killed WCW.
What's on?
It's behind the scenes, like
Oh,
who
oh, oh,
killed.
that's the one where they were interviewing Eric Bischoff.
Yep,
Oh,
Nash,
oh,
Flair. Flair's not in it, but he's pissed because he's not in it. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it because I love every Vice thing they've did, except like the the Tales of the Territories that The Rock was collaborating on. But The Rock's doing this one too, so I have a feeling it's gonna be good. Um, like Vice's
there's
Dark Side of the Ring is fucking fantastic.
something else starts this week. Oh, for any of you that care, uh, there's a new Star Wars series starting on Disney.
We'll
Okay,
see how that goes.
that moment.
and,
Uh,
and we're
I'm not.
back.
Yeah, that one. That one kind of sprung out on me. I didn't even know they were doing it, but it's called Acolyte. I'm gonna check it out. There's a lot. Like I still got so much shit to check out. Like you were telling me about like the Beavis and Butthead show. Like I still want to check that out. There's a couple other things that like we're behind on in the house that we normally watch. Um, Me and my kid just watched something. I was gonna tell you guys about it, and I can't remember what it is now. It was a actually watched it on YouTube. It was a stand-up special for somebody. Oh my god! Because Sal Volcano from Jokers.
Uh,
He released his first stand-up special, and it's on
mhm.
YouTube. It's called Terrified, bro. my- I I had tears. I was laughing so hard. My kid almost rolled off the fucking chair laughing. Like it was so fucking good. Like I mean I know he does stand up cuz like he's been here before and
Mhm.
like right now he's on tour with Bert for the Fully Loaded tour. So like I know he dabbles in that world like a couple of the other ones do. Like Joe Gatto was just here at the beginning of the year. But I didn't know he was as like I mean those guys together on Practical Jokers is that's a squad. Like they're funny. That show's hilarious.
Yeah.
Watched it faithfully. Like, and I saw them live with Mike and Jason Logan. They came to the arena and did. This is when it was like the height of Practical Jokers era, and they came to the arena, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And it wasn't so much a stand-up special, but it was just them telling like funny stories that had happened on the road, behind the scenes things, stuff like that. But this, I'm like, why has this dude not been fucking on tour sooner? Like, so funny. And it makes sense that he's on tour with Kreischer because you know how Bert is he's a storyteller. Like he tells stories, shit that happens to him, like the machine, like his last stand-up special. He talked about the fucking escape room with his dad and family. Sal's like that. Everything he talked about was fucking a story that had happened to him. And you just couldn't help but fucking like I it was uncontrollable laughter. Like I mean it starts off where you're like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out, but then like once he gets kind of set in after the first like few minutes, because it's like an hour and a few like hour 10,
Yeah.
he gets into it, dude, and he finally like like you could tell he's comfortable. He starts feeling the crowd, and then he ends his show with kind of like a what grinds my gears type of thing,
Oh, okay.
bro. He was like, can we talk about Family Feud? He was like, can we talk about how all these other game shows are giving away $1 million prizes, and the Family Feud for the past 20 something years has been giving away $20,000?
Yeah, right.
He was like, even when you win, you leave there broke. He was
I
like,
mean, that's true. Like, you put your whole family there, and you probably paid 20K just to get there.
yeah. He was like, he goes, you got dudes dancing, girls are hugging and screaming. You got Steve Harvey doing the Dougie for what? A buck?
For
Bro, like,
20K.
yeah, he was like, so that's how he ended it. Was like, yeah, it was like a kind of what grinds my gears type of thing.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, that again, it was hilarious. Like, and again, he's really good at like telling these like funny stories. Not he has like some moments where he has like quick one-liners, but most of his show was him telling stories. And again, talking about like his life, like growing up, like kind of comparing the newer generation with like growing up in like the 80s like we did, you know what I mean? So it's shit that we can relate to,
Yeah.
you know, that we went through in our childhood. Because there was a couple things where I'm just sitting here going, "Yep, yep," and Jane goes, "You know what he's talking about." Like my kid
Yeah.
knows, like because she's heard me talk about shit like that before, or has been around us enough to know the shit that we talked about. Like I'm like, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. like like the whole thing where you don't listen to mom, and she goes, "Just wait for your father to get home from work," and you're like, he goes, "Your butthole tightens up real quick."
Yeah, right. I mean, I really didn't have that problem until it was the weekend,
Yeah, but
but like I prepped myself enough time to be like, fuck, she's gonna tell him about blah 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 blah.
exactly. But it's just like so we watched that. That was like I again saw it on it was announced on like Twitter that it was out, and I was like, no fucking way. So I went on and found it. It was Saturday night. Me and the kid, we got home from a very long Saturday. We were out all day running errands. We had a special event we had to go to and whatever. And we got home and we were just chilling, and I was like, well, you just want to find something to watch? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, bloop, I put that on, and she was like, that was really good. Oh, and
Right.
then I had her watch Daredevil Part 2. Once again, my daughter was traumatized by a Marvel show.
Right. Yeah. You don't fuck that all up.
Well, I'm trying to prep her for 3. Did you
Yeah.
figure when Deadpool 1 and 2 came out, like our kids were younger, like there was no way I was letting her watch Deadpool 1 and 2. I
Yeah.
mean, even though she wanted to, just because she's watched all the superhero shit with me, like that's our thing. But like, I was like, no. But now she's a teenager; she can figure it out for herself.
Right.
Um, like the sex scene in the first movie, she was like, "Dad, you could have forewarned me," and I'm like, "Nope. Wanted you to experience it live.
That's it.
Like, you just
You
got to
gonna
go."
learn today.
Yeah.
You gonna learn today.
Wasn't like it was like a crazy sex scene. I mean, it's
No,
still,
no, no.
but it was just a point. But so we watched that too Saturday. So that's what I mean. Like I still got other shit to watch. Like it's just, and then like I said, and then I realized all this new shit's coming out this week,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck.
Well, I said something because my dad was here this weekend helping me out around the house and helping a neighbor. And
Oh, how'd that go?
well, all right. How long is this podcast now? Well, so okay. So let me take a minute. I don't know if this is just me and my dad in our situation, but if it's the same with y'all out there, whether it's you're with your dad, your mom, or just you're doing a project and you're like, oh, cool, this is blah 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 blah, and this should take blah 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 blah, and it should be like, and you're done. That don't happen. Never happens with us. Never fucking happens. All we were supposed to do was go to the neighbor's house and put on some skirting. Done. That to me, 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. Because when we put on my skirting, it was literally an hour, 15 fucking seconds, an hour, finish. Like we were done. So we get over there, and first things first, I knock on a neighbor's door. She opens the door. I was telling her, like, hey, can you run us down what you needed to be done? I know you were talking to me about a certain situation. She's like, I can't talk about this right now. I got to go to the chiropractor. Bitch, you asked for our help. Like, the fuck? So this happens, and she walks by. My dad was like, you're fucking kidding me, right? I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't have control of this lady.
Yeah.
She was like, I'll be back in like 30 minutes. My dad was like, I don't got fucking 30 minutes. My time is precious. I'm dying. So I was like, okay, well,
I could be
what?
sitting at home slinging.
Right. So I told him, I said, well, can you, why don't we look at, he was looking at the electrical problem at my house. And he was like, all right. So we did that. And then he couldn't figure it out. And then my cousin Charles is going to come look at it this weekend. So I came outside, and she was home. She came back. So in the midst of us talking to her, Brandy showed up here. So Brandy's here with Xander, taking make sure Xander's okay and whatnot, just hanging out with X. And we go back over there, and she's like, well, sorry, let me retract it. So while she was gone and we couldn't figure out the electrical problem, we came back out, surveyed her house, like just checked it out. Like, okay, this part's fucked up. We got to probably fix this. This part's fucked up. We got to fix this. So when whenever that storms were coming in and it was really windy, the tornadoes, all that shit, NEM, her skirting pushed back about a good, I'm not fucking with you, probably about 4 or 5 inches.
Jeez.
So with that, the rain, there's all the dirt in front of it. So you'd have to dig that up. So
Uh,
he looks at it instantaneously. He looks at me and goes, got a shovel? No, I don't got a fucking shovel. I didn't even think we need a fucking shovel. I said, I don't have one. He's like, well, I'll be back. Where are you going? He's like, I'm going to get your hammer. What? Dude, he takes the claw end of my hammer and it's fucking chucking away like he's fucking picking ice. Just, yeah, yeah. And he's just swinging, bro, swinging. And I'm like, you all right? He's like, got to dig it up somehow. I was like, do you want me to do it? Nope. Okay. Then you bitch, your arm hurts later or something. It'll be something.
you could
So
at least went in the house, got him a spatula or something. Yeah.
my luck, the spatula would have been like, it just broke. Then he'd be like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, well, there we are. So he's digging and he doesn't realize for that skirting, because you have to like get behind it and pull it back out.
Yeah.
So it's in that track. And what we're going to do is we were going to open the back of the skirting, put a big ass 2x4 behind it, like a long 2x4.
Uh-huh.
So it stabilizes. So if the wind pushes it, it's not going nowhere. And then keep it on the track and then kind of like screw, not make it obvious, but like kind of camouflage 2 or 3 screws into the skirting so it's flush and will not move. The
Yeah.
stabilities. So of course we run into a problem fucking putting in the skirting, like pulling the skirting back because he didn't factor in that he's fucking all of a sudden he's digging into this shit looking like a kid on fucking Double Dare digging into fucking boogers looking for the flag. Like he's fucking in it, bro. He's like deep. And I was like, you're not gonna get your hands back here. So he's like, yes, I will. So now, unbeknownst to me, here I am, and I have fucking cut resistant gloves because I knew there's holes in it and it's skirting, it'll cut you. He puts his fucking hand in, he's like, oh fuck, cutting my hands. It's like I offered these gloves to you 3 fucking times. Like
Yeah.
don't bitch at me. Don't bitch.
Yeah.
I love you. Don't bitch at me. I told you. So we finally pull it out, and she shows up like coming around the corner, and that's when she was telling us what all needed to be done. And he's just, and I was like, dude, chill, like shut up. So for those that don't know, my neighbor works for like I guess the animal society, or she like if pets are being abused or circumstances like that, if they're being neglected, she takes care of cases like part of the Pittsburgh police or whatever. So she's in a uniform, okay? And my dad, you could see my dad like seething. He wants to say something. And she's like, all right, well, she showed us everything she needed to do. We needed to do. She took off. As soon as she takes off, she's not even past my fucking Jeep because like she passes Brandy's car, passes my car, and my dad goes, "What the fuck is up with Paul Blart Mall Cop over here?" I was like, dude. I was like, she's helping have fucking animals. He was like, I don't give a shit. Like she's like, all he needs to do is ride Xander's scooter and she'd be on fucking patrol. I'm fucking crying. I'm crying, dude. So I was like, Dad, like shut the fuck up. Let's do this. So we end up doing it, and again, like I said, that project should have took 30 minutes tops. Brandy was here by 1 o'clock and we still weren't done. My dad got here at 9:30. So I was like, well, there goes that. So anyway, he takes off about like 3 o'clock. But then, it's my dad. I don't want him like he's out there. It's hot. He's tired, and
Yeah.
like he's older, and I don't want him to get hurt. You know, it's our parents. I give a fuck. So I brought him in the house, and like it was real cute. Like Xander brought him out iced tea. I said, "Do me a favor, give Pap something to drink." And Xander really came out. Even Xander helped a little bit too, which I thought was really cool. But then we came in the house, and my dad is fucking dead, dude. He's exhausted. You can see it. And I was like, why don't you have a seat for a minute? Like, here's a cold ass glass of fucking diet tea. Just chill the fuck out. Get your bearings together. Find out what like my stepmom and my sister and brother are doing.
Yeah.
And then, go about dinner or whatever. He's like, all right. So we're done. Like, it's done. He has to tighten up a couple things over there still. And he's going to do that this weekend. So, so he's sitting on my love seat. And I don't know if anybody else's parents do this, but my dad does this. My dad will sit there with a phone in his hand, and his glasses are here. Now, mind you, he's seeing the phone here,
Uh-huh.
here, here.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there, and I knew he was Facebooking. That's how I know my dad is on Facebook if he's swiping.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, I was like, "What you doing?" Like just shooting a shit with my dad. I was
No,
like, "What you
you
doing?"
knew some shit was going down on.
And dude, and I just saw it. And he's like, he's sitting there and he's like, if y'all motherfuckers, and I was like, what? And he's sitting there, and it was like, y'all motherfuckers don't know about what I'm doing. And I was like, what the fuck are you reading? And he's like, oh, it's a post. And then like I won't say anything, but like or whose post it was, whatever. And he's sitting there and he's going, and he's reciting it, bro. And it's my dad trying to sound ghetto, and it's not fucking working. But then he's sitting there and he's like, read it. And you could tell it's like a meme or like a post of like scripted or something.
Yeah.
And it was like something, and it's like, y'all can't believe blah, blah, blah. If y'all, and I was like, dude, if you say y'all one more time, like, you can't even give it like the either the street cred or the country twang you want to give it. You're not doing it right. You're sounding really Caucasian, and I fucking hate it. Like I can't stand that shit. So he's sitting there, and it's like, y'all want me to post up on this, and I can't. I'm about that life, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Word, the fuck."
Oh, I love your dad.
So I'm looking at him, and I was like, "Did you just say word?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Word." So then he's sitting there, and he's just, so y'all motherfucker think y'all can just be it. Word. And dude, he's just going. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, you said enjoy myself and have some free
Bro, here's the thing. Like, obviously, I grew up around your dad, so it's like your dad will find that one word of the day, and that will be his word.
time. Word.
And it so happens that that day it was word.
Word.
I guarantee you, he went home. Freaking Joanne said, "You want dinner?" He's word.
Or
Like he just used it. I bet you he answered the phone. Somebody called him. He's like, word. Like
or
he didn't say hello.
right?
I see that. Like I, I can safely say, like you don't do that. Like, but your son does. Like your son will give you. Like he doesn't. I notice it more when you two are interacting. You're trying to have a serious conversation with him or talk to him about something. And Xander with like, cause he gives you one word answers, and when he
Yes.
does, like I'm like, dude, he sounds just like his grandfather. Like,
Dude, it got I'm glad you said that because it got better.
oh Jesus Christ!
So here's Pop saying, word after he's reading these or whatever.
Xander started saying it.
So I swear, bro, next time you talk to Brandy, we said something, and I can't recall if I was either in here or walking away, and I was saying something. It was to the derogatory. I was saying something to Xander,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, me and Brandy swore to God we heard Xander go word, and
that's
I
what
was like, "Did you just say word?" And she was like, "That's what I thought he said." I was like, "No, no, 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 this ain't happening.
you
This is
were around your
not fucking."
grandfather too much today.
I was like, I wanted to be like, you and Pap have time is done for the fucking week. Like, just no. And then all I thought was, I can only fucking imagine Father's Day.
Oh God.
Like, I can't because I was thinking like you. He probably went home and say like Darian, Devin, and the baby stopped down, and my dad got the word of the day, and they probably were like, oh, you know what? Like, hey, Applebee's sounds good, and all of a sudden my dad was probably like, word.
Bro,
And all I think of is Devin looking at him going, what? Like,
exactly.
what?
Because he's gonna, if he was around, your dad's gonna try and use it in even more full effect.
Yes, yes, because that's
Just
what he
because he thinks that
does.
Devin's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna get on Devin's level.
Yeah, right. I'm going to say word. And then even Darian is going to be like, what the fuck? What is happening today? Like, why'd you just start wording it today? But then, like, that's my
Then
dad.
Joanne's gonna get pissed at him because that's how he's gonna answer her the rest of the day, and she's gonna be like, Paul, I've had a fucking enough of you and the word.
And I'd be like, dude, I don't know what happened. Like, he literally was sitting here and it was like, word. Like,
Thanks,
okay.
Facebook.
Well, just like, for those that know my dad, and for those that don't know my dad is very into like 80s music, and that's all of it. 80s pop, rock, hair metal, all that. But my dad is hardcore into like metal, Slipknot, Korn, Limp, all that shit. Like
Yeah,
all of it. Like Escape the Fate, fucking Gemini Syndrome. He's fucking all over the fucking place in that genre.
yeah,
So I asked him, I said, hey, there's these leaves down, or like these trees down here by the end of the trailer. I said, I need um, your extended like chainsaw so we can get them down. I said, you think you can bring out your chainsaw probably this weekend or whatever? And he looked at me and he's like, a motherfucking chainsaw. What? I was like, dude, I don't have time for Limp Bizkit. I need to know, is it coming here or is it not coming?
and then he flipped script and he was like, word.
Then I was like, so is it coming? He's like, word.
Yeah, like I don't even have to be there, and I know how that whole situation went between the three of you, not just you and your dad, your son included. And I can only imagine Brandy sitting there going, "What the fuck? I should have stayed home." Like
She took it all in, but she was pissing herself laughing at my dad
oh yeah,
because
yeah,
like she's been around my mom enough, but like she doesn't get too much time with my dad because my dad is constantly busy. Like I
yeah,
get that, but when he came around and I like she knows about my dad, she knows about his musical stuff, she knows about everything, and then when he did that word, she lost it. Like
yeah.
word, and then that's how he was ending every one of the post memes, whatever. And to be honest, I can't remember fucking. I don't even know whose post they were fucking were, to be quite honest. Because then he was sitting there just going, da, word, word. I was like, wait, so what if it's like a fucking recipe for a fucking chicken Alfredo? And 1 cup of broccoli, word. like, I was like, what the fuck, dude?
That's what
Like,
I'm saying. Like, he gets hooked on that one word of the day. Like that was like it wasn't. I mean, I know he did it when we were younger because obviously that's when we were hanging out. We first met, but like middle school, definitely into high school. I think we might have brought it up on here before. Like, your dad cannot say my last name for the life of him. And then once he had come up with his own version of my last name, like like again, there was like a day we spent the whole day with him doing something, and that's all I Robert Hazinski. Like
yeah,
that's all.
right. And then, like, but he does that with everybody. Like, he
Yeah,
does it with everybody. Like, I think another one that stands out is Craig. Shout out to Craig and Jen. But he was like, it looks like Cliff Clavin. I was like, that's not even close. I was like, Craig. He was like, Cliff. I was like, Craig. He's like, Cliff. I was like, that's not it. Not it.
Did
And
you
then he
tell him
was,
his nickname?
I did. And then I was like, yo, his name's like Sipple, or they called him Nipples. And he was like, nope, still Cliff Clavin. I was like, why is it Cliff Clavin? He's like, it sticks. What the fuck do you mean it sticks?
You're the only one saying it.
You're the only one. You're the only fucking one. And I just sat there and was like, I I don't even know. And then what's funny is just like you, if Craig sees my dad, like it was one of those last autism walks we all went to,
Yeah.
and my dad saw him and he's like, "Hey, Cliff, how's it going?" I was like, "Dude,
I know. I was like, Paul, who the fuck is Cliff?
who the fuck
And
is
you were like,
Cliff?"
he's talking to Craig. And I was like, do you not know his name's Craig? You were like, oh, he does.
Yeah, right. And like, and I was just like, "Dude, there's never a dull moment with him.
No,
Never."
but that's, you know what, though? Like, we kind of have that problem in our house with Craig. Sorry, Craig. Um,
We love you though, bro.
yeah. Um, my daughter, because growing up, I've only referred to him as Nipples. And so even to this day, she's now a teenager. And last year when we had all you guys over for 4th of July, I was telling Donna, she was like, who all confirmed? And I was like, well, Paul, da da da, this and that. I was like, and Craig and Jen. And Jane goes, who's Craig and Jen? And I was like, you know Craig and Jen. You've met them before. She was like, no, I haven't. Dude, this went on for, I don't know, like almost 5 minutes. I was like, you know Craig and Jen, like, da da da. Like, I'm explaining situations where she's met them before. And she finally put it together and she goes, do you mean Nipples? And I was like, yes. She goes, Dad, I did not know his name was Craig. I was like, what? And even though now she knows that's his name, she's still like, anytime I have to reference them or say we're gonna go hang out with them or whatever the situation might be, I have to say we're gonna go see Nipples and Jen. Like,
Well,
because I asked Jane, I said, do I have to call her Mrs. Nipples? She goes, no, Dad, that's just weird. And I was like,
yeah,
but
right.
calling him Nipples is
Well, I
and you
guess
gotta,
I am
that's all Mark's fault for the nipples thing.
right. So we see you, Morgan. But I think that like mine is also I have a tendency, but it's in my phone.
Yeah. Oh, it
So
is in my phone that way.
yeah. So well, it's not just Craig. So I have people that have nicknames in
Yeah.
my phone.
Yeah.
So I know who they are because I have multiple people. Like I have two Jens, I have two Erics, I have like I have a variety of people.
Yeah.
So I forget what it was, and I was we were going because we were meeting Jen and Craig for like brunch and drinks or whatever, and I used my phone and said like text Nipsey Hussle. I just spun the nipples into Nipsey
Yeah.
Hussle. And Brandy's like, who the fuck is Nipsey Hussle? I was like, Craig. She's like, why is he not in your phone as Craig? I was like, oh, girl, shit, hold on. I was like, well, let's get going. I was like, my cousin is Oos.
Yeah.
I was like, Eric's the honorary Oos. I was like, Jen is Bree mode because when she gets drunk, she gets into Bree mode. I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, my cousin Charles is Charlie because he's been that way forever. I
Yeah.
was like, I was like, Noelle's OG sis. And then my sister Darian is little sis. And
Yeah.
then like I was like, everybody has a nickname. Like Dad Senior, my mom's the Queen. Like everybody has a name.
Dude, even in my phone, so like obviously you're just in my phone as Cho. Like, it's the way it's always been.
That's
But then
me.
even whenever your dad gave me his number, that one time, and was like, keep this in your phone. That way you could always get a hold of me whenever you need to. And I'm like, sure. Um, but even then, like, again, you're in my phone as Cho. I don't think I have like there's no other Paul in my phone. But when I saved it, I saved that shit as senior. Like that's just
That's it. And the best part is, even like Craig will say something, I'll be talking to Craig, and he's like, "So what's senior up to?" That's how he's addressed. Like
yeah. I would
everybody
just
knows
say
him as
like
senior.
depending like even now, like I probably did it now, but like I either say senior or like again because like I grew up with them, like in like I think it's just like ebb and flow from you. Like I'll just say pops sometimes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
say, how's your pops? Or, you know what I mean? Because that's how you'll reference him sometimes. But like yeah, I think most of the time it's just senior. Like because again, that's just the way it always was with you two. Like I mean, and you were never junior, but
I was when I was little.
maybe for through like maybe he called you that, but like as far as me knowing you, like I've never referenced you, and I don't think any of our friends have ever referenced you as junior.
No, because it's one thing I just didn't want bestowed on me. That's just
Yeah,
one thing I didn't. And then when we worked together, that's the height of the Orange County chopper shit.
yeah.
So then they were bang putting us like that. And then that's actually why I started calling him Pop
Oh, okay.
from the show. And then he's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Well, that's what Paul Jr. calls Paul Sr." So I just fit it
Yeah,
work. But
yeah.
I don't know.
And that's like yeah, like I mean I didn't have any of those problems, so.
Well, the thing is, it was either Paul
But I
Jr.
guess
or
you know what, like
Carlos.
my nickname, obviously it's right there on the screen, right there, right there. Um, like mine was kind of the same, a little bit of a same scenario. Like so, like growing up, obviously my name's Eric, but my grandfather had a very very close family friend. It was like like a coworker, but it was a very close family friend, and his name was Eric. But this dude was like, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but he was probably like 7 foot tall. Dude was fucking huge, big dude. So his nickname was Big E. Like that was his nickname. It was Big Eric or Big E, whatever they referenced him as. So whenever he was around for like holidays or family events, he was always at the house at my grandparents' house. To separate us, it was my grandfather always said, "Hey, that's Big Eric," and I was Little Eric. Just figure I was a little kid at the time, so it was Little E and Big E. But that guy, he passed away, I think, at like a somewhat younger age. I don't remember the whole story, but he passed away. So then my grandfather, and at that point, I'm now getting older, like middle school, high school. And my grandfather passed. He was like, "All right, now you carry on the name of Big E." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Yeah, right.
so, and then you guys, and then I've never, like, and it's weird because, like, up until now, like, I don't think I've ever really told that story, like, kind of publicly. Like, it's just, just never really, never called for it. But, like, and it's weird because, especially as, like, kids, like, I definitely didn't tell that story to any of you guys. But, like, I was always, like, even even to this day, like sometimes like people like know my name's Eric, and I mean now, yeah, I'm a bigger guy now. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't really super heavy or anything,
Hmm.
but it was like I don't know why, but I was just always referenced as Big E, and it was like weird that like those two worlds shared the same. My nickname was the same in like those two different worlds, and it was like I can never link like how that happened, but it was just weird. And now it's tattooed on
Right.
my arm, so now I'm fucking stuck with it.
Well, that's like when I got reconnected with like my dad's side of the family over the past like 4 years or whatever. It was like they knew me as Little Paul,
Yeah,
and then I just think that's hilarious that I was Little Paul, and then like in some of them would call me like Paul Junior or Little Paul, and now like the whole thing is flipped, but it's still the same. Like I am
yeah,
the Big Cho
yeah,
because I didn't want to be like I don't even like being called Paul. Like I'm
yeah,
just so used to it, but like that's just flipped because now my dad's of course older and they separate the two of us. I mean, other people call me Cho or the Big Cho, and it's funny when he hears that. I think it was the first couple times he heard it in high school. He looked at me. He was like, "I never thought of that. I never thought of that." And I was like, "It's just better than saying our whole name because nobody gets it.
yeah.
Nobody gets it."
Everybody would say it wrong or definitely spelled it wrong.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I
That's
remember
why I
being,
felt bad for
I
Xander.
remember being in classes with you and you'd have to correct teachers.
I do it
Well, we
now.
both have a problem between your last name and then my last name. Like we don't have simple last names. I mean, yours is shorter than mine, but it's still like to
Fuck
pronounce
up.
it to pronounce it is weird.
Yeah.
And like with mine, mine's long and complicated and fucking Polish stall hell and back. So it was like, yeah, it was just like so again, it was just easier for like friends and stuff to just always just reference us by our nicknames because
It's
it
so
made
much easier,
made
man.
life simpler for everybody. But I do that with your mom too, like because I don't even know if she doesn't still go like I mean when her and your dad divorced, like she go back to her maiden name?
She did for certain things, but she still has his.
Yeah, because when because like I said, like when I'm talking to your dad, or even when I talk to your dad, I reference senior or whatever. Like I've never called him Paul. Just like I've never. I mean, I do because Jane Jane's still like she calls you Uncle Paul. Like you know what I mean. So like the Paul comes out, but it's still added with something. It's never just Paul.
Right.
But with your mom, it's the same thing. Like when I'm asking you about your mom or talking about your mom, I'm always like, "How's mom doing?" Or I always say, "How's Mama Cho?" Like she just kind of acquired that nickname too, based
It's
off.
so funny that so many people call her Mama Cho. That's
Yeah,
fucking great.
and that's why I've been thinking about it like recent, like the past couple years. I'm always like, should we still call her that? Like, I don't even know if she still has that. That doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, I mean, like she knows that's what we call you, so she probably just flows with it. But it's like, I mean, but I don't call her that to her face. Like your dad, I will call senior to his face. Your mom, if I see her, I just call her mom. Like I just like mom, how like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like because again, we're like
Yeah.
she's like another kid to her. So it's like I just say mom.
Right. But
But
it fascinates me how many people call her Mama Cho. And then like even when they'll say like Mama Cho, she'll be like, "What?"
yeah,
And
like
I'll just go like, "You just embrace that. That's dope."
we got to get Kev a nickname. We just call him Kev though.
Dude, he's in my phone as Kev Bodie. Don't ask me why.
I'm just gonna start calling him Candy Rain.
But Mike, that's me. That's my thing. Is I literally took that like I took it literal after my dad left, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just as bad as him in my phone." Like
Yeah.
everybody has a fucking nickname, and I was like, "Oh good god, I am him." Like
Yeah.
I did. I was like, "Oh my god." Like
There are times where I think it was whenever when we went miniature golfing last weekend. I don't remember what the situation was. I don't remember what exact was happening at the moment, but you said or did something, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's like standing here with senior." Like, I was like,
I
"Yeah,
catch
yeah,"
myself doing it, dude.
because I think I looked at Donna, and I might have been like, "Did you just see that? Like, that was just like his dad, wasn't it?" Because obviously Donna knows your dad. She still cracks up every time. She always tells people about the first time she met your dad when we walked into his house when you were no, that wasn't the first time. It was the first time she was ever at his house because she had met him before that, obviously. But the first time she was at his house, we were coming to meet you. We had dinner plans. That was when you were staying with your dad,
Yeah.
and you were like, you know the deal, just kind of knock and walk. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like that's just how things
Yeah.
are. And I knocked, but I didn't. I knew better. I knocked, and I was like, hello. And Donna was like, he said just go in, and I'm like, you might want to wait a
You
minute.
might want to fucking wait a minute.
Like we're at Senior's house. You don't know what's going on around here. And she was like, what are you talking about? And here comes your dad from the kitchen. Like I heard that kitchen door or the fridge door close.
Yep.
And then all you hear is, what do you want, Robin Ozinski? And he come from around that fucking corner, boxers. That was it. Donna was like, oh, hi. And he was like,
Gotta be prepared.
his next words were, you could have told me you had the little lady with you. I would have dressed nicer. And I was like, I didn't know you was gonna be in your fucking boxers. Like
I didn't know he was gonna be in
I
your
think this is
skids,
a two-way
Pop.
street here. Like you could have warned me and I would have warned you, but I didn't know. He was like, he's upstairs still getting ready. And that's when he's like, you know he takes as long as a bitch does.
I do.
I was like, yeah, I know. He was like,
He's like, yeah, man.
he was like, I guess I should go put some pants on. He walked away. Donna was like, okay. And I was like, and I told you this is why we didn't
Told
just
you.
walk in. This is why we didn't just walk. I mean, we was in the doorway, but I didn't walk completely in the house because I
Right.
knew it was summertime. There was a chance. We were lucky he wasn't in a Speedo. Like,
There was a chance. Like, but I like with all due respect to him and Joanne, like that's their house.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Like, I mean, yes, we were going there to see you and to meet up with you. But again, like you said, that's your dad's house. And again, you know, there's that respect there where he knows, like, again, like, just kind of knock, come, like, you know what I mean? Like, respectfully knock, but the kind of that whole, like, the door's always open type of rule,
Yeah.
you know? And it's, you know, it's like, okay. You know, and it's just like, I mean, it's the same thing like when I go over to Mike's. Like I said, I went to Mike's this past weekend and, you know, like I just, or like you know, I go over there on Thursdays for bowling and it's just kind of like, you know, I know his mom's going to be sitting there in the living room watching a ball game or doing whatever. And I make a knock and I do the slow little walk in like, hello, just so I don't startle anybody. But
Yeah.
the door, it's just like open door policy. Like even here, like you guys just, you
I
know,
knock and walk.
yeah.
Just like you knock and kind of walk too. Like I don't care.
Now, if I'm
But like
coming into like your guys' house, like if I was walking into just Mike's house, I probably would have been like, I'd make some dumbass comment like I have done to you before, like put your pecker away. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but it's still just an acknowledgement of like, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, hello, I'm walking in your door. And uh, you, there's a few times where Xander, Jane doesn't get it. Like Jane still like she's like, no, we have to knock and wait for them to enter the door. Like Jane just unless it's a family member, but even with you guys like friends, she's still I have to like Jane, just go walk in the house. But like Xander, he sometimes I guess it depends on his mood. Like sometimes he'll just walk in my house, or sometimes I can hear you on the porch going, Xander, open the damn door. Like, you know what I
But
mean?
just
Like
go in.
because normally you guys got like shit in your hand, like you know, he's got his bag and all
Yeah,
you know, whatever. Like you're like, my hands are full, open the door and go.
for real. My dad's the same way. So when he got here, he like knocked on the door and opens it. But
Yeah.
then like Xander was going to get him. Like he would my Xander was excited my dad was coming.
Yeah.
So my dad opens the door and I'm coming out from like the bathroom. I knew
Uh-huh.
he was coming, so I was like, I'm gonna get my shit together because I'm gonna go help him. He comes to me and he was like, "You and Brady better not be doing the old hibbity dibbity back here." I was like, "Xander's here." Like I was like, "Hey, no hibbity and no dibbity happening in this fucking place."
He when he said that, you should have looked at him and like, word.
I'll get him on Father's Day. He'll just say something. I'll be like, "Word." He'll be like, "Word." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
No man.
But yeah, because I'm going in to see him on Father's Day.
Yeah.
So I was texting my little sister. I'm like, hey, if I'm there, why don't you bring down my niece? I'd like to see her and bullshit. And
You
she's
know,
like, yeah.
can I catch you for something right there for us? Just for 1 sec. 1 sec. No, you person. But they're both your little sister. They're both your little sisters. They're both younger than you,
I know, but you know,
which is because one's little. I don't even know that anymore. I think they're almost the same size as Noelle.
dude, I don't know. They're both bad bitches, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, that we know. But I'm just saying, like, you just. I mean, I know when you say little sister, I know you're referencing to
Darian.
Darian, but it's just funny because I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, he's the older, like he's the
I'm the
oldest.
oldest.
Everybody's the little to him. Like, even though, even though that
Even the
your
dude that's like six fucking
brother's
three
got
is
like a foot
little.
or two on you, and you still like, that's my little brother. That's my little big bro.
He is. He's in my phone as little big bro. Bro, because like I'll sit there and say something and be like, bro, I'm older, right? They'll be like, yeah. Be like, dude, you better calm that bass down in your voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can only imagine. Oh my god, I can only imagine. And then like I'm supposed to see my dad's side of the family this weekend because it's my cousin Brandy's birthday. So I'm hanging out with like her, my cousin Dakota, her fiance Dalton. So that should be fun. My dad don't go to any of these events, like, and they would like him to, but
Oh, he ain't going.
fuck ass no.
Fuck ass, no
In the
word.
words of my dad, fan, what? Fuck ass no. Like, okay.
Like that, they're your family. They're only
Yeah.
my family because they're your family. He'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's when when my aunt passed, my cousin Brandy and Autumn's mom, he was like, well, your siblings aren't coming. I was like, I'm the only one that knows her, really. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I was like, Noelle knows of her. You know what I mean? We've been around her, and
yeah.
the kids were around her a little bit, like when we were doing like holiday, like Thanksgivings and shit. I was like, but the only one you're probably gonna get is me. Like I know her, and then my dad's like, oh, I should do this and go to dinners with them, and try to be more associated with them. And I'm like, that's a great idea.
No, he hasn't.
And I don't think he has since.
That's still a twinkle in his eye.
Yep. But it's just I'll say something like, "Hey, I'm going to Dakota and Dalton's, and Brandy's going to be there," and he'll be like, "Oh, I ain't going." I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, we have family stuff. My cousin's baby showers this weekend, and they're doing one of those. Anybody can come. It's not just a girl thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because my aunt did it that way because, like, my other cousin, so her son, um, it's his sister that the party's for. Like him and his fiance, I think they're engaged. I don't fucking know. Um, they're coming from Philly because obviously, like, if it was a girl thing, she would be coming. And it's like, so my aunt was like, I have people that are coming in. There's a couple other family members that are coming in from out of town. She's like, and it's like, what am I going to do with, like, you know, I don't want the guys to have to find something to do while the girls are all at a shower. She's like, so I just said, fuck it, and just made it an everybody thing so that everybody can visit and mingle and the whole 9 yards. And I was like, all right. Because at first I thought it was just, you know, it would be something that Dawn and Jane were going to go to. You
like
know what I mean?
baby shower, yeah,
Yeah, like, you hear their baby shower and you're like, okay, that's a girl thing. But nowadays they do it for everybody. So,
yeah. Like
so
Stephanie's was like that. It was
yeah,
hilarious.
so we have that on Saturday. And then also on Saturday, my kids got to go to a wedding. This is new generation shit. She's going to her teacher's wedding.
You wouldn't catch me dead.
Now, her teacher's younger. This is the one that graduated from Perry that we figured is the same age as like our sisters
Yeah,
around
yeah,
their age. So she's so like compared to like when we were in school, like we really, our teachers were old. You know what I mean? Like I think nowadays you see a lot more younger teachers teaching these kids. So they relate to them more. And then, like, you know, my daughter has this teacher for more than like one thing, so she's built like a very good relation.
Relationship.
Yeah, so her wedding's this weekend, uh so my kid was invited, and I'm like, Okay." So I have to take her to that on Saturday. And then Sunday, we have a family dinner with Donna's family on Sunday. That should be fun because my kid's more likely going to have to work because she works every Sunday. And I highly doubt my wife's going to be home from the hospital. So I, the non blood DNA person, have to go to that family function on my own volition. So,
So when it gets awkward or something, just be like, word.
yeah, on my word to the nipples.
They'll be like, what? Be like, oh, okay, word.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So I don't so there's that. So yeah, we have like a family weekend too. Just with everything going on. And then, like I said, I don't know. Yes, folks, my wife is in the hospital again. It's what
It's
we do
kind of
around
a, it's an on and off thing. People
what,
just
what we do
stick with
around
it.
here. So
And
she had she had a surgical procedure today. They almost killed her. So there was that.
great, don't be doing that because then Brandy's gonna be texting me like, did it almost kill her? What really happened? I'm like, I don't know.
She
I'm
almost bled.
supposed to have all the facts and information.
She almost bled out.
Well, but she's all right.
Yeah. She said they super glued the hole.
Just duct tape, like Debbie.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's
that
not.
they they didn't take into account that she's been on blood thinners for the past like week or two because of the blood clot that they found. So they were making sure it was dissolved all the way. So they had her on like a low dose of blood thinner, but she's been on it for like again, like I said, like a week or two. So
Yeah,
it's built up in her system. So when she had the surgery, like I don't think anybody took that into consideration. So she got
yeah,
back
that
to
could
her
have been really bad.
room. They got she got all the way back to her room, and her leg was still bleeding. She said, and the nurses were like freaking out, and they called the doctor. The surgeon came up, and he was like, "Ah, okay, give me the super glue." Boop, boop. He glued it back up and plugged the hole.
Jesus.
So I was like, "How much blood did you lose?" She was like, "I don't know, it was a lot." I was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, it could be worse. It could be when she was stripping out, thinking people were fixing the fucking floor in her room.
Oh no. So, all right, I'll tell you this one. So I called her. I didn't hear from her all day yesterday, and a little bit of a busy day. Like me and the kid had to go do laundry because I still don't have a working dryer. Um, so me and the kid had to go up to my in-laws and do laundry, and then my kid had work, and I had to stop at the grocery store. Well, actually, I went into the store she works at, picked up a few things, da da da, and I came back and I was just beat. I was tired, but then I realized I haven't heard from my wife at all,
Right.
and I even asked her mom when we were at my in-laws. I was like, "Hey, did you talk to Donna?" She said no. She was like, I haven't heard from her, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, let me call her before it gets too late. It's the time's going to come into play because it's part of the story. I call her, and she sounds groggy, and I said, sleeping? She goes, yeah. And I said, oh, okay. And she goes, well, good morning. And I said, no. And she goes, well, that's rude. And I said, it's not morning. And she goes, yeah, it is. And I said, babe, it's 8 o'clock at night. The puck's about to drop for fucking game 6 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I was like, I'm about to watch Edmonton versus Dallas right here on the TV. Your kid's at work. Neither of those things happen in the morning.
She's about to get breakfast, bro.
And she was like, you're fucking with me. I know it's morning. And I'm like, no, it's not. And she goes, hold on. And I start hearing shuffling of the phone, like almost like a pocket dial. It's like, oh. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm trying to get my clock to show so I can see what time it is. I was like, it's 8:07. I'm not lying to you. And she was like, oh, I guess it is. And I said, do you know that it's Sunday? She goes, no. And I'm like, all right. I'm not even asking any more questions. I don't want to know. I'm like, are you feeling okay? well, obviously I'm really out of it. And I said, okay. I said, but like the pain's under control. Like I'm not even going to ask you about any procedures or what tomorrow's going to happen because you don't know.
Right.
And he was like, I don't know. And I said, exactly. I said, I'll talk to you at some point tomorrow. Go back to sleep. She was like, okay, goodbye. Click. That was my phone call with my wife yesterday.
Dude, that's great. Damn, she's fucking out of it, bro. That's crazy as fuck.
Well, but they got her on painkillers. They got her on antibiotics and whatever else.
It was definitely a wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, she was like, fucking, what's his Sean Penn from fucking Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
What?
I'm like,
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, but then what I thought was funny was today, the day of this procedure and all, whatever else they had testing and everything else she did today, she was more coherent today than she was yesterday. And I'm like, I assumed you would have been out of it. I mean, they had to knock you out for the procedure, like the surgical thing. Like, what? Like, how are you more coherent today than you were
Right.
yesterday?
Oh
I was like, whatever.
my
Whatever.
god.
So, and this is only round one. She's having real surgery, like full surgical procedure, probably at the end of the week. End of the week.
Wow.
So that's why I'm like, I told Jane, I was like, well, you don't have a mom for another week or so. She was like,
Oh
well,
my god.
she's like, thanks. And I'm like, well, I'm just letting you know, don't count on mom being home.
Yeah, right.
I can't say I didn't warn you.
Right? Oh my.
Well,
Well, well,
my kid's still in school.
mine's until Thursday.
Mine still got a whole. She got this week and all next week.
That's wild. Mine's
Pittsburgh.
done on Thursday and he's itching to be done.
I think Mike said that like Jocelyn's school, so she's in like West Allegheny or whatever it is out that way. They're done this past week. I think she's out now. Like
Most of them
I
are.
mean, like last week. Like yeah, like Thursday. I don't know, whatever day he told me. But I'm like Jesus. I was like, my kid's got forever.
Yeah, like I was trying to tell him, I was like, this is your last week of school with me, and you have the last week is like the actual last week with your mom. And he's like, "Oh no, school's over." I was like, "Dude, I wish for you because you could tell he's done." But I'm just
Yeah,
like, "You got." I told him today when I Facetimed him, like, "You got like 3 more days. It's almost over. It's
yeah.
almost over." I mean, I yours. That's crazy. That's a long time.
That's what I asked her today because I take her to school on my way into work, and I'm like, so do you like what's your school week look like? I was like, do you have any like special shit you got to do? I was like, don't you guys got finals? She's like, no, we don't do finals till next week. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, don't these teachers want to like, let's go, let's get this shit done and over with. Teachers want to get done too. Like,
Right.
she she's like, I don't know, Dad. She's like, everything's just like late this year.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
I love how that my significant other texted me and asked me how the pod went. I'm still doing it.
still here, B.
We're still here, B. Still here. We're almost done, honey. We're almost done. We all right. Um,
Here's what
but
I love. Let's just real quick. We could end it on this note. I know you have one more thing, but this will segue. We when we did the audio version of the podcast, 45 minutes, hour. And then we were like, all right, we're gonna switch to video. We'll stick with the hour time frame. We both agreed that was still good. And then
now look at us.
I think we did like an hour for the first one or two, and then we realized, okay, we slowly crept towards the hour and a half mark. We at 149.
Then we brought in Sam. It went two, and
Oh
then
yeah,
it just it keeps snowballing between 1.5 and 2, 1.5 and 2. So if you make it through the whole thing, God bless you. You're a real
yeah,
trooper. If you watch us in segments, I fucking love you.
yeah,
So I was like, a view is a view of a view of a view. I don't care. I
yeah,
don't care. I was like, and we need more guests. Don't say you're going to be on and then you ain't going to be on.
yeah. What's with that shit?
I need more guests. But I have bad news. I have bad news, breaking news. Um, so in May, Spotify for podcasters switched. You had to get a Spotify account because they were taking over, like Spotify was taking over that thing. And I switched everything on the account. Was still putting out audio recordings for people that listen to the podcast instead of watching it. Um, from what's happening, I believe that Spotify, from what I've read, is more likely going to stop like editing. We can't do recording on it. And that's happening somewhat in July or late June. So I don't know what's going to happen for an audio recording. That just don't panic, don't freak out. I'm working on it. Um, again, you can find us here, YouTube. Um, where everything's still the same. We're just trying to find another platform to send the audio recordings. That way it can be dispersed between all the podcasting streams. That way nobody misses anything.
Yeah.
So again, don't fret, don't fray, don't freak out. We're working on it. We're just bringing it to your attention that if something happens and you don't hear an audio recording, just play YouTube and put us in the background or something, That's it. I mean, we're gonna figure it out, but I'm just saying, push comes to shove, we're still gonna be here. At least we have another platform. Thank God we did this. So now because I never thought this was gonna happen.
Yeah, we're not left high and dry.
Yeah. Um, so we're figuring it out, and um, again, I'm pointing this out. I would like to have somebody on next week. I would like a guest, male, female, family member, non-family member. I don't give a fuck. I would like somebody on next week because I'm pretty sure they're tired of seeing our ugly mugs for a little bit and a little bit spice it up. So if anybody wants to be on the show, you could reach out to Mike. You could reach out to Eric. The podcast fucking accounts that are all out there. If you want to be on, hit us up. I definitely would like to have anybody on here. I don't care who's on here. We always have fun with it. So if you want to be on the show, let us know. And we will see y'all, of course, next week for the Show Thoughts podcast. Y'all know I'm the Big Show. That, of course, is Big E. And I'll see you. Well, I don't know. Eric might glitch or something. We don't know. We don't know. He might be dead or something. He makes up shit. We'll see y'all next week. Word.